She had been planning the surprise for weeks, her heart fluttering with excitement each time she imagined his face. Emily knew Daniel worked long hours, and she wanted to do something small but meaningful to remind him how much she loved and supported him. She baked his favorite chocolate cake, carefully packed it in a box, and even wrote a little note that read, "For my hardworking man. Your love is my greatest gift." The morning was cold in Toronto, but the warmth of her anticipation kept her moving quickly through the streets. She kept rehearsing in her mind how she would walk into his office, place the cake on his desk, and see him smile the way he always did when she surprised him. When she arrived at the downtown building he told her he worked at, she felt a rush of nervous energy. She smoothed her coat, checked her reflection in the glass door, and walked inside. At the front desk, she politely told the receptionist she was there to see Daniel Foster. The receptionist looked at her computer, frowned slightly, and then typed again. "I'm sorry," she finally said, "but there's no one here by that name." Emily laughed softly, thinking it might be a mistake. "Maybe check again? He works here in finance." The receptionist tried again, but shook her head. "I'm afraid he doesn't work here, and I've been here for years." The words hit Emily harder than she expected. Confusion tangled with panic. She stepped aside, trying to steady her hands as she clutched the cake box. Maybe he had transferred departments, maybe he forgot to tell her about a new position, maybe this was just some clerical error. She dialed his number, but it went straight to voicemail. She called again and again, each unanswered ring pulling her further into dread. She finally sat on a bench outside, her heart racing as questions flooded her mind. Why would he lie about something as simple as where he worked? That evening, when Daniel finally came home, she tried to act calm, but the silence in her voice betrayed her fear. "I went to your office today," she said quietly, placing the untouched cake on the table. His face froze, his shoulders stiffened. He looked at her, but no words came out. After what felt like an eternity, he sighed and sat down. He confessed the truth. He hadn't had that job in months. He had been laid off and was too ashamed to admit it. Every morning, he left the house and sat in libraries or walked through the city, pretending he was still working. He wanted to protect her from the stress of his failure, but instead, he had built a wall of lies that now came crashing down. Tears welled in Emily's eyes, not from anger but from heartbreak. She wasn't hurt because he lost his job. She was hurt because he didn't trust her enough to tell her. Daniel's voice cracked as he explained how worthless he had felt, how he thought she would see him differently if she knew he was unemployed. Emily reached for his hand, her voice trembling as she said, "I don't love you for the job you have, Daniel. I love you for the man you are. But hiding the truth hurts us more than losing a job ever could." The next few weeks were not easy. Trust had to be rebuilt slowly, and Daniel had to learn to open his heart even in his moments of weakness. Emily stood by his side, helping him update his resume, encouraging him when he doubted himself, and reminding him of his worth. There were still arguments, still nights of silence, but gradually the honesty between them grew stronger than the fear. One day, months later, Daniel walked in with an offer letter in his hands. His eyes were brighter than she had seen in a long time, and for the first time, his smile was free of guilt. He had landed a new job. Not in the same fancy office building, but in a company that valued him for his skills. Emily hugged him tightly, whispering, "This time, no more secrets." They both laughed through tears, realizing that the hardest part had never been the job loss. It had been learning how to face challenges together. Their story became a quiet reminder that love is not built on perfect circumstances, but on honesty and trust. Sometimes, the strongest relationships are the ones tested by the hardest truths. And in the end, Emily's surprise did reveal something important. Not a job, not an office, but the strength they found in each other when the lies finally fell away. Would you like me to also write a short, emotional YouTube outro narration that ties the story into an inspiring message for the audience?